All right. So this is now part 3 of equations with fractions. Now, this part 3, it's a little bit challenging, right? Why? Because remember, we look at our denominators with this denominator x minus 2, we've got x minus 3, and here we've got 2 minus x, right? So what I observe when I see this 2 minus x, it's almost similar to x minus 2. So my job is to make this 2 minus x to look like this x minus 2. And in order for this 2 minus x to end up looking like this is when we now need to use what we learned in grade 10, which is called the change of sign rule. Change of sign rule. Once we have applied change of sign rule, then we'll be able to continue with solving our equation. So as for the other two terms, we are just going to rewrite them. So I've got x minus 2, x over x minus 2, which is equals to 1 over x minus 3, and then I've got a minus here, and then now here, how do I utilize this 2 minus x, the change of sign rule? Observe one thing. When you are given 2 minus x here, and I take this 2 is a positive 2. Now, let's go back to your signs when you were doing grade 8. You were taught that in order for you to get a positive 2, either you said positive 1 multiplied by a positive 2, which gives you a positive 2, or you have been given a negative 1 multiplied by a negative 2, which will give you a positive 2 as an answer, right? All right. So here, because this 2 minus x, where I want to go, the 2 which is here is negative. It now tells me that in order for me to get this positive 2, I used these factors, negative 1 and positive, negative 1 and negative 2. I'm sorry. Negative 1 and negative 2 is the one which gave me positive 2, right? So let's see. So now we know that these are the factors that we have for this positive 2. Then we go where? We go to this negative x. What did we learn? We learned from grade 8 that a negative multiplied by a positive will give you a negative sign, or a positive sign multiplied by a negative sign, it will give you a negative sign. So in this particular case, for us to have a negative x, it's because there is a negative 1 multiplied by a positive x. That's why we had a negative x. So these are the factors. Now, remember, what we are having here now, when we are factorizing, we look for the common factor. What do we find under the factors of positive 2 and the factors of negative x, which is familiar? What we find is that we've got a negative 1 here and a negative 1 there. So in other words, what we're going to do is that from this 2 minus x, we are now going to factor out the negative 1. So we factor out negative 1. And once we have factored out negative 1, right, now it means we are left with a positive x, which is this x. And once we have factored out a negative 1, it means that we are left with negative 2. We're left with negative 2. And voila, if you check, then we've got x minus 2. So now we come and we write a negative outside, and we write the x minus 2 like this. This is our denominator. And then our numerator is still a positive 2. So basically, this is how the change of sign rule works. All right. Then, from there, now what are we going to do? Now we're going to write our restriction. Or restrictions, because we've got 2 of them. We've got this x minus 2, so we write that x minus 2, and we have x minus 3. Those are the restrictions which we have, but it's not enough to just write it like this. Now I have to transpose this minus 2, so which means it will be a positive 2. But we now say that x must not equal positive 2, and x must not equal 3. For those who are seeing this video as their first video, why are we writing that x must not equal 2 or x must not equal 3? We're simply saying that if we are to take this positive 2 and where there is a x minus 2 here and we substitute and we put 2 minus a positive 2, it becomes 2 minus 2, which will now give us x over 0. And when your denominator is 0, it gives you undefined. So these two numbers, this 2 and this 3, if we place the 3 here, it becomes 3 minus 3, which gives us 0, which will basically make it undefined. So we're saying that at x is equals to 2 and x is equals to 3, we can, they will give us what? A no solution. So this restriction, you must write it. Now, we start to solve there's only one thing which is left. We now say this negative, which is here, multiplied by that negative divided by negative, it gives us a positive. So when we now write, we've got the x minus 2 and x, which is equals to x minus 3 over 1. And then where there was a negative, now we write a positive, because this negative divided by negative gives us a positive. So we've got 2 over x minus 2. Now, what are we going to do? Now we find our lowest common denominator, that our lowest common denominator is x minus 2 and x minus 3. So here we've got the x minus 2. We start by writing x minus 2. Then we've got also x minus 3. And we have got x as our numerator over x minus 2. Like this is equal to, I start by writing what I've been given, which is 1 over x minus 3. Then I multiply by this x minus 3 and the numerator, the other part of the common denominator, which is x minus 2. Then I write a plus, right? Now I write a 2 over x minus 2, and I multiply by x minus 2 and x minus 3, like that. From there, now I play the cancelling game. This x minus 2 cancels that. This x minus 3 cancels this one. That x minus 2 cancels this one. Now I'm going to multiply. X multiplied by x, it gives us x squared. Negative times positive, it's a negative. 3 by x is equals to 3x, which is equal to 1 multiplied by these factors, it gives us the x minus 2. Then we now say positive 2 multiplied by this x, which gives us 2x. Positive multiplied by negative, it's a negative. 2 by 3, it's a 6. Then from there, we are going to transpose to this side. So I've got x squared here minus 3x. Then this 2x plus x, it gives us 3x. When I transpose it, it becomes a negative 3x. So I tick them so that I don't repeat them. And then negative 2 and negative 6 gives me negative 8. When I transpose it, it becomes a positive 8. So we write a positive 8 is equal to 0 there. And then these two are like terms. So we've got x squared minus 6x plus 8 is equal to 0. Now we factorize. So we've got x here, x there, which is equal to 0. Now, the factors of positive 8, and here there's a negative, it means the last terms are both negatives. And the factors of 8, which gives us a negative 6, are 2 and 4. From there, now we write x minus 2 is equal to 0, or x minus 4 is equal to 0. Now, if I transpose the 2, it gives me x is equal to 2. But remember my restriction. We said that if x cannot equal to 2. So this x is equals to 2. We now come here and we write that it's not a solution, no solution. Right? It was already part of what we said in the beginning. Or we go and we say x is equals to positive 4, therefore x is equals to positive 4. You can also substitute this into this original equation, and then it will prove that it's a solution. So that's why I've written therefore x is equals to 4. Thank you. Watch the next video, because there is another trick also on the next video with regards to this.